Do you feel that as an African American, you have a slimmer margin for error than another chairman would?
The honest answer is yes.
Why is that?
It just is. It's that Barack Obama has a slimmer margin. A lot of folks do. I mean, it's a different role for me to play and others to play, and that's just the reality of it.
And that's what we call the race card in politics. We're joined now by Reid Wilson from the Hotline. And Reid, you've been following this story very closely. Michael Steele's not making things any easier for himself. I can't imagine this is being received very well by the same folks who have been anxious over his leadership.
You know, he's not. And I think what we've learned over the last week is that Michael Steele's reputation is broken beyond repair. In this last week, the real problem that came out, this expenditure at a Los Angeles nightclub, had nothing to do with Michael Steele. And really, $2,000 in from a committee that's going to spend $100 million this year alone, maybe closer to $200 million this year alone, it's less than a drop in the bucket. But the fact is, this was the latest thing that we heard, and it caused more people to panic. It caused Tony Perkins to panic. It caused some other social conservatives. News just coming in now that the RNC has lost another top fundraiser, former Ambassador Sam Fox. So at the end of the day, the one small mistake that some junior staffer at the RNC made has come back to hurt Michael Steele. That just tells me that his reputation is so shot that people are just looking for excuses to jump off this bandwagon.
And what's the real-world impact of that as the party is gearing up in an election environment that should be very good for them? What is the real-world impact if his reputation is beyond repair?
The real-world impact is that the RNC is going to become much less important now than it ever has been. We've seen some Supreme Court decisions lately, Citizens United v. FEC, that's going to put a lot more money in politics, not in the party's hands, but in special interest groups' hands.
And we've seen one big group already jump into that fray.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen some other sort of shadow RNC organizations run by Ed Gillespie, Karl Rove, former RNC chairman Mike Duncan is planning to run $50 million worth of ads for Senate and House candidates. So at the end of the day, this is going to severely diminish what the RNC was when Michael Steele took it over.
We put the question out to Twitter about what Michael Steele can do to try to get some credibility back. And I think the broad theme is, and we'll give you one particular one, this is from TR Scoop, he can do what he did with Scott Brown, stay below the radar, fundraise, spend money appropriately. He basically needs to become silent. That was the major theme, just shut up.
And exactly, and this is the difference between what Michael Steele pledged to do if he was elected RNC chair and what the other four candidates who actually made the ballot pledged to do back a year ago. David, I know you were there. That was a great day of politics.
It was a lot of fun. Week after the election, yeah.
Yeah, and Michael Steele was promising to be the best spokesman. And what we've seen over the last week is exactly the problem that everybody saw with him. He would be a great spokesman. He's going to have problems raising money. That's what all of his opponents said during the election. That's proven true.
Now, is he playing the quote-unquote race card, or is race a factor here? Is race and his style being so different from what the RNC establishment has seen before, the GOP establishment had seen before, that perhaps he's coming in for an extra level of scrutiny?
Well, I think his style is different from what the RNC chairman classically does. The RNC chairman is a guy who raises money. That's all he is. That's all Mike Duncan ever was. That's all, guys like Ed Gillespie, Ken Melman, sure, they show up on This Week once a year, but that's basically all they do. What Steele's real problem, or rather the way that race played a role in Steele's chairmanship was not in favor of him, it was against the other guy. Caton Dawson was the guy who finished second, and every Republican on the RNC who voted against Caton Dawson had in the back of their minds the fact that he had been a member at an all-white country club. That was a big problem.
Last 15 seconds here. When these finance reports come out from the first quarter, what are the first things you're looking at?
You got to look at the amount of money that the party committees are raising. Democrats have a huge advantage in terms of just how much money they have on hand. It's a great cycle for Republicans. They won't be able to convert if they don't have the cash.
Excellent point. It plays right into the points about the RNC as well. Reid Wilson from Hotline and Hotline on Call. We appreciate you being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for being here. That does it for this edition of Top Line. Be sure to click us on again tomorrow.
And it's twitter.com/the note. Keep the conversation going. Baseball, politics, you name it.
Will the president throw a strike over the plate? What do we think?
No, he bounces it.
No, he bounces it. Okay.